Hey everyone, I wanted to just do a quick little stream here. I gotta get going pretty soon, but I just wanted to talk about a few things quickly. First of all, it's crazy that in 2024 you had several of these low budget independent films, not from any of the major studios, that actually did really well. First of all, you had Long Legs, this new throwback horror film, throwback serial killer film, very much in the same vein as Zodiac or Seven or David Fincher, or actually movies about Hannibal Lecter. It's made for under $50 million. I don't remember what the exact budget is off the top of my head, but it's a low budget film that's independent, not distributed by like Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, any of the major studios. The movie did not have a marketing budget. There were no trailers really for coming out. Then it actually did really well. It ended up being the highest grossing film for its distributor, Neon, highest grossing independent film of 2024. I'm pretty sure it's similar to like Silence of the Lamb. I blinked on the title of that movie just a minute ago for some reason, but it calls to mind all those classic films. Everyone who saw it went, wow, this film is actually really good. It's refreshing to be reminded of those classics. And it also does bring something new to the table by having just a little bit of supernatural stuff in there. It's a movie that's definitely on my mind to watch. I want to see it at some point. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I've been watching a lot of other stuff. But what other film did really well this year that's under the radar type of thing? Of course, Terrifier 3. And what's crazy to me, a big thing I wanted to talk about today, is that Terrifier 3 did better than Joker 2. What? Joker 2 is a production budget of $200 million. It has a production budget that's 100 times, I'm pretty sure, the budget for Terrifier 3. Again, this movie did not have a marketing budget. There weren't trailers. Word was just getting around due to internet buzz, word of mouth, memes, all that kind of stuff. Also, keep in mind, you're not just talking about low budget independent film, but you're also talking about an inherently niche film. It's a intense, intentionally provocative horror film. So obviously not meant for everyone. It's not designed to be a big four quadrant blockbuster for $200 million budget. No, no, no. The people who made Terrifier 3, the director, Damien Leone, anyone else working on this film, they know that they're making a film for a smaller audience. And so clearly they ask themselves, how do we deliver what our target audience wants? So what is it that they expect from Terrifier 3? How do we give that to them? And they succeeded because people saw Terrifier 3 and they went, yeah, this is good. And one of the big things that's just mind-boggling to me is that Terrifier 3 got a B cinema score. I mean, it's not an A, obviously. A is a fantastic cinema score, but again, keep in mind, you're talking about an intense, intentionally provocative horror film. This is not entry level horror. This is not Casper. It's not The Haunted Mansion. No, no, no. It's not for the faint of heart. So keep in mind, A24 horror films usually get like a C or D cinema score. Usually it's pretty bad, primarily because oftentimes those movies are marketed in a way that doesn't really sell you on what the movie actually is. It sells you on the idea that this movie is going to be faster paced, has more action to it, and then you watch the movie and that's not what it is. Terrifier 3 delivered what people wanted. Actually got a really impressive cinema score considering what it is. While Joker 2, sequel to the 2019 Joker film, first R-rated movie to ever make $1 billion, got a D cinema score. Heard me right. Joker 2, D cinema score, lowest cinema score ever for a comic book film. After Joker 2019 really got people talking. It got positive reviews. Sure, the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is lower than the audience score, but it is still fresh, however. And it was the first R-rated movie to ever make $1 billion. Keep in mind, almost no movies in the history of cinema have ever made $1 billion. You're talking about 60 movies. That's nothing because, I mean, like, thousands of movies probably have come out. 60 is like less than 1%. Joker 2 got a D cinema score, tanked at the box office, got bad reviews, so critics and audiences alike is intentionally just trying to step on everyone's toes. Whereas Terrifier 3, people made it, but because our audience is smaller, we're not going to try to subvert their expectations. We're not trying to step on their toes. We're just trying to deliver what our target audience wants. People responded favorably to Terrifier 3. It's clear in general there's definitely demand for movies that do not have a $200 million budget. There's demand for lower budget films that are not trying to be the big 4-quadrant blockbusters of broad appeal that are for everybody. If you go into a Marvel movie, for example, you know that's going to be for everyone. If you go in to see a new Star Wars movie, we're not getting any right now, but if you went in to see a new Star Wars movie, you know it's going to be for everyone, probably. But it's clear with 2024 and 2023 that it's not reasonable to give every movie a $200 million budget, to make everything big blockbuster for everyone that needs to make a ton of money at the box office. No, people want smaller things. I mean, Werewolves came out at the end of 2024. It's like the purge of werewolves, designed to be a B movie. And it did well. People actually really liked it. And seems like we're going to get another Terrifier movie, to be honest. I've heard things about Terrifier 3. It sounds like we're getting a sequel. I've seen Terrifier 2 at this point. I haven't yet gotten to Terrifier 3 yet, but I definitely want to watch it. It's very much on my mind to watch it. I think it's clear that there's demand for taking chances on unproven talent. That's not the kind of thing the big studios, especially Disney, are actually doing. But you look at Blumhouse, for example, they are taking chances on unproven talent, which just means that you will get bad Blumhouse films. It's a joke that like every year, pretty much, you'll get a bad Blumhouse horror film dumped in theaters in January. But you also have Get Out from Blumhouse, fantastic directorial debut for Jordan Peele. Whiplash got really positive reviews. Megan is from Blumhouse. That movie did really well, to the point where we are getting a sequel to it, and we're supposed to get a spin-off within the next couple years as well. No, I think it's clear that you don't want every movie to be vanilla. You don't want every movie to be like Red One, for example, which is such a generic movie. I saw in the theaters. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored by it, but is it a memorable film? No, it's really not, because it literally feels like it was focus grouped in order to be a big 4-quadrant blockbuster that's going to appeal to everyone. So it feels like, yeah, we're getting another PG-13 big slick blockbuster that's a globe-trotting spy adventure with quips. We've seen that movie before. It's just with Red One, you have a Christmas skin put on top of that, and you have the obvious jokes that you expect. I mean, half of the jokes in the movie are just Chris Evans responding to what's going on around him with skepticism. Like, really? I'm a class 4 naughty lister, just repeating what someone else said, or responding to what's going on around him in a snarky way. It's like, yeah, it's not a very witty, clever joke. It's the kind of thing you'd expect. In general, to be honest, Chris Evans hasn't been doing that well over the last couple years. Like, he hasn't been in that many projects that have really made a big splash or have been all that memorable. You know, this year he was in big studio film like Red One. To be fair, I don't know what studio actually put that movie out. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a big budget blockbuster that's designed to be for everybody. So you don't feel a distinct vision from the director at all. You feel like, yeah, this was looked at by focus groups, written and directed by committee. You could say created by AI, because it feels like you combined Taken, Fast and the Furious, and Men in Black with a Christmas skin. So it's not very interesting, even though it's a totally competently made blockbuster. It's a professional film. It doesn't make any big mistakes, but it's not really interesting. Terrifier Free is interesting. If it's not for you, obviously it's totally fine. If it's not to your personal taste, personal preference, nothing wrong with that. Or like if werewolves isn't your thing, because you go, oh, we've seen this before, it's just the purge of werewolves. But still, it does do different things when it comes to werewolf lore. And there isn't really a ton of werewolf movies out there. There's more vampire movies. I mean, you had a Wolfman movie that came out back in 2010. That was over 10 years ago. It didn't really get very good reviews. So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, yes, we're just getting another werewolf movie again. And it's doing something different with the lore compared to other movies that are about werewolves. No, I think it's clear people are getting sick of big studios, especially like Disney, just playing things so safe, focusing so much on adaptations, sequels, remakes. Disney, they put out so many live action remakes. It's like, okay, Disney, you just keep looking to the past. You're not creating new stories in a lot of cases. You're just looking at what worked before. We know in the next few years we're going to get Marvel movies, we're getting Disney live action remakes, Disney animation films, Pixar films. Even when you look at Pixar Disney animation films, they actually sometimes are original stories, but you go, oh, it's another Pixar film. Oh, it's another Disney animation film. Pixar or Disney animation basically becomes the brand. So you look at what Disney is going to put out over the next 3 years. It's like, okay, you guys are very risk averse, playing things very safe. So I think that's why people are more interested in stuff that's put out by Neon or A24 or Blumhouse or whatever studios behind the Terrifier films. I don't know what studio is responsible for those films, but the smaller studios that are actually taking chances, trying to find new good directors, putting out interesting movies, not giving every movie a $200 million budget. So I hope that Hollywood overall learns this lesson. I hope they realize, hey, there's demand for lower budget films that are not designed to be for everybody. Let's make more of those. But I don't know if that's going to happen, because safe movies are ones that rely on nostalgia, make a lot of money at the box office. Look at Deadpool, Wolverine, or Spider-Man No Way Home. Those movies are based on nostalgia. I like both of them. I enjoy both of them. But inherently, they're not trying to bring something new to the table. They're about reminding you of the past. I think they do that very well, but they're not really trying to do anything different. So, you look at Hollywood's thinking, and it's like they probably don't realize that they should put out more lower budget films, because they just see that the major studio big budget blockbusters are making a lot of money. Not in every single case, obviously, but some of them are making a ton of money. I don't know. Disney's going to learn that lesson. I'm not too confident, but hopefully they'll realize that. We'll wrap things up for this stream here today. I just want to get on quickly and talk about a few things I'm interested in. I'll be doing streaming again soon, within the next week for sure. Hi, everyone.